Hey, we're ending it early because I don't know what's going on with Restream and their sound issues, but good evening, everybody. Late Night Live, episode 62. Let's go. Meatball Saucy's in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Some guy named Asa Jack's Media Grounds. I don't know. Must be some wacko.
All the time.
Oh, is my audio messed up?
No, we can hear you. He can't hear us.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're good.
Wait. Can you hear me
We don't know
now?
what's going on with Restream.
Yes,
Yeah, we
can
can hear you the whole
us.
time.
We can hear
Okay.
you.
You know what? Oh, that was weird. I think I had
I will say
another
that the theme song didn't sound super strong when it first kicked off. The volume
Yeah.
sounded low and odd.
Who knows? Well, we're
which is
on.
Too bad.
You're right. Okay, but you guys can hear me good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meatball Saucy. Like, I'm having audio issues all the time now because, like, I did an impromptu stream on my channel last night, and my mic didn't work at all. So, like, all right, just play quietly. But can you hear me? No.
I can imagine what your voice sounds like. It's a lovely timbre that's coming through in the woods as you're walking through at night. That's Meatball Saucy.
We've heard him talk before, though.
I know, but I can't hear him now, so I'm just giving him the...
Okay.
No.
All right. Let's see who's here tonight. Asa Jack's Media Grounds. Chris.
Yep.
How's your week, sir? You have play any games or?
Was kind of
Doing
limited
fine?
this week. New job, learning a bunch of new things. Went back to some old ones that I think Eric would love. I played some Space Quest, the original DOS game.
Space Quest 1?
Yeah, I bought the collection, and so I played a little of Space Quest 1 and killed myself about 8 or 9 times because I have no idea what I'm doing because it runs on DOS and you have to actually give directions, and it spent a lot of time telling me I don't understand what you're asking. What's I'm?
Well,
Who's father?
I don't understand what you're asking half the time either, so it's par for the course, right?
Yep. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really played anything this week.
Okay. Let me go to Travis because Dathan here, he's gonna exit here early, but we'll get to his stuff in a second. But Travis, how you doing, sir?
Good. I spent the week playing Inscription as well as a bunch of other random games because I got a 9070 XT video card that everybody was clamoring for. That arrived, and then I got a 5080, so the step below the flagship as well. So I've been going back and forth between those, testing them and benchmarking and deciding which one wins in the quest to be the dominant card that everybody wants. So, and if I get a 5090, then that'll jump in the fray as well.
How you liking it so far?
Well, the 9070 or 9050, I'm getting the numbers all mixed up. So 9070, I think, is what AMD did, the XT. That would be a really great card if you were looking at doing 4K gaming without ray tracing. At a good price is super relative because back in the day, I would have thought it was crazy to spend $600 for a upper mid-tier card, and that's what it is. But considering Nvidia is selling all of theirs for $1,000+, it becomes kind of a friendly card. But immediately after all of these cards released, they are now selling not by scalpers but by partners. They're selling for $700+. So now it becomes a question of, okay, now the upsell argument steps into the mix, because a 5080 retails for 1,000, or well, MSRP for 1,000, but really is going for about $1,200 to $1,500, and it does ray tracing. So if you fire up Cyberpunk with ray tracing on, the fully engaged, all maxed out, the AMD gets 5 frames per second. If you throw in the NVIDIA card, you can play that at about 30 frames per second. I mean, we're talking fully decked out, like everything at Ultra, about 30 frames per second. But then you turn on frame generation, and all of a sudden you're in a very playable state. So it becomes a question of just, is the money worth it? And I think that AMD did themselves a disservice by jacking the price up, allowing partners to jack the price up right away. They should have all agreed to try to take the momentum out of NVIDIA while they had the chance. And they undid it. So they screwed it up.
But are you enjoying the video card?
Oh yeah, I mean it's okay. I regret the fact that I sold a 4090. I sold the 4090 that I had earlier this year, like before these cards were announced, because every other generation, NVIDIA has taken the 80 series, and that 80 series of the next generation has always beat the previous generation's flagship. This is the first time that the 80 series does not beat the 4090 that I sold. So now I regret selling the 4090, and just am shocked that this is what we're in right now, right? So if I want to one up what I had in that case, yeah, totally. So I have seller's remorse on it, which is the first time that's happened with one of these series. But this is why I PC game. If I had a console, I wouldn't have to worry about this, at all. But this is part of the hobby, tinkering and overclocking, and which I've been doing, and seeing what I can do is part of the hobby, right? So am I having fun? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
I will say, before we hand it over to Dathan, I'm playing that Assassin's Creed Mirage, and those game developers should be more responsible. I came up to a part in the game, Dathan, I don't know if this happened when you were playing it, where a kid was standing way up high, trying to think about jumping down like 2 stories to try to dive like the little Assassin's Creed guys. And your character, Basim, who I would call something else now, he goes all the way up there, and instead of taking the kid down, tells the kid to do it. What kind of hero is this?
I told him to do it.
You have no option. You can't just take the kid down. Instead, you go down and you say, "Come on, idiot, jump." Come on. What kind of hero is this?
That kind of reminds me of Nintendo 64 when you're dropping the penguin over off the cliff, because we all did it.
Well, and then furthermore, this kid plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes. This dumb kid, he does jump, luckily survives, and then what does your little hero tell him? Hey, talk to me when you hit puberty and you're old enough to actually be of use. And then you walk off. What a jerk. Anyway, go on, Dathan.
Dathan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Kind of still getting back into the swing of things from being gone last weekend. So not much gaming, a little bit of gaming. I'm trying to finish RoboCop before next week, because Assassin's Creed is next week.
Right.
So I'm trying to get that done, and there's just a lot of content this week. There's a lot of stuff. I watched all 3 episodes of Daredevil, caught up on all that. Read some
good so far?
Have you guys watched it?
No.
You guys haven't watched Daredevil yet?
I haven't even watched the first one.
Does anybody in the chat watch Daredevil? Just let me know. Tell me what you think. A lot of announcements. New Transformer by Roboson was announced. I know who it is.
Who is it? Like, yeah. I guess I didn't pull the video, but there's some sidekick.
I'm pretty sure it's Bumblebee, but it's going to be a transforming one.
Bumblebee's a sidekick?
Yeah. In the cartoon, he was.
Oh, okay. I thought he was
Yeah.
like a main character.
No, he was. Michael Bay made him a main character. He was a sidekick, it's like along with Cliff Jumper. But I'm pretty sure it's Bumblebee. But he's going to be able to transform. That's what I'm guessing. But so we'll know in a couple weeks.
Do you think he'll be a little smaller than the other ones?
The one they came out with already, it was, but I think he'll be a little bit bigger. I think because he can't be that small and be able to transform. It just doesn't work.
Right.
He needs to be a little bit bigger.
So you're not worried about the scale being not right?
If we're going off cartoon, he is to scale the way he is right now.
Okay.
So my guess is that they would make him just a little bit bigger if that's who it was. It might be him or Sunstreaker, maybe. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of toy announcements that came out this week. I picked up I pre-ordered the controller.
I do have that right here. Yeah, so it sounded like you weren't going to buy it, and then you got it.
Well, they sold out, and I got a link on there really quick, and I was like, well, I'll just go out and pop and see if I can get into the direct, and then it showed up, because I was in the direct for 25 minutes in the queue.
Oh, man.
And then I was like, that's not going to happen, and then I got in there, and then it went, so.
I mean, it's a nice looking controller, but I'm not a controller collector, so
I'm not sure how many more of these I'm going to get, because they're almost $100.
Yikes.
Which is quite a bit for just a standard DualSense controller. But I mean, it is pretty cool. I still think the Spider-Man one's the best. And the God of War, but we'll see when we get it. But other than that, that's about it. I got a half marathon on Sunday, so I got to get my beauty rest tonight and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. All right, but talk about let's see, you did some more stuff at Emerald City Comic Con. Do you want to talk about any of the RoboForce stuff?
I did. I went to the RoboForce panel.
And I got a video for that.
Yeah, if you got some stuff for it. And it's by the same guys that do the toys that made us. And they were basically just talking about their cartoon and all these different licenses that they're going to have with they're basically creating kind of like a multiverse with all their figures and toys and properties and stuff like that. But I think it looks pretty cool. They had all their figures on display, and I think it's going to be on Tubi, and it's going to be next month. And so they showed, I think, maybe 10 or 15 minutes of clips on there. But it's definitely like a 80s, 90s cartoon, especially the theme song, which he played. It was just on repeat, so we probably heard it about 30 times. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool, and looking forward to seeing it.
I think Roboson, or not Roboson. What are these called? Gosh, I don't even have it. RoboForce. RoboForce. Yeah. It was like an original toy back in the 70s or 80s, and they're like they have the license now, so they're gonna not only re-put out the toy, but they're gonna do a new cartoon. So
yeah.
So
this came out, and then shortly after this came out, Transformers came out. So we all know how that ended. So,
gotcha. So this was at the time of GoBots, then maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it was a very good panel. And I brought up to the guys about the. Because you wanted me to ask them a question about the toys,
they're also doing the Star Trek toys, which
the Star Trek toys, and I told them that we were at the panel at the at PRGE, and that the fire alarm went off. He's like, "Oh yeah, we remember that right at the very end when we were going to do the Q&A."
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a good panel. I enjoyed it, and we didn't get to ask. There wasn't a whole lot of time to do a Q&A because I wanted to ask him a few questions about some of the designs for the robots that they did. But this cartoon will be on next month.
Yeah, I think it's really cool what they're doing. I don't think they're like a huge company or anything, and you get the license to do something like this, and become a maker and see if it sells, and put it out there, put a chance, put your hat out there and give it a shot. I don't know. The cartoon it doesn't look like that crazy good or anything, the animation, but I think the toys. I need to get a closer look at what the toys look like, and I mean, we could go to their website and stuff, but I think that's where it'd be at for me. Let's see. Before you leave, and what are you guys talking about? All right, Vampire Survivors. Oh, and by the way, just for myself, I think I had a good week. I do have glasses now, so
What did you have before?
I can see you now. I finally went to the eye doctor. What's up,
Hey,
J-Rod? J-Rod was on my stream last night, and I was trying to talk to him, but I don't think he heard me.
Did you need glasses and you just haven't had them before?
Yeah, everything. I felt like things in the distance were just a little blurry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'd sit down and maybe watch TV or just even driving, like signs that are far away. Like, man, it didn't used to be like that. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't have. The doctor said like I don't, I can live without them, but it definitely makes things a lot clearer. So,
yeah,
we'll just go with it for now. So,
yeah. It hit me real fast. I didn't need them. And then all of a sudden, at a distance, everything was blurry, and I needed them.
Crazy.
Yeah. Up close, everything is totally fine. But
and I see, Dathan's got them, Chris has got them. So technically, we all got them now. And then, but like just walking around like my work, and like I just noticed like, geez, he's got glasses. He's got like it's like we're all in an exclusive club now. Like,
once you hit a certain age, I was told everybody, usually for nearsighted. So the eye doctor said that the unusual thing about me is that my up close vision is totally intact, and my distance is the only thing that's off. He said that once you hit certain ages, the up close goes away first, usually before the distance does. But what does he know?
Yeah. And I should have did it last week too. Or when did I get my eyes tested? They, I don't know. They put those drops in your eyes, and I had one of my eyes was like really
dilated.
Dilated. It was like super dilated, like even the next day, and then the other eye wasn't. So it was like really weird. Like I'd have one eye that was like huge and the other eye was super small. That was really bizarre.
I knew a lady that would happen to randomly. Like her one eye would just dilate more than the other, and she would have to tell people like, "I'm not on anything. I'm just here at work. This is a normal thing."
Right.
People be like,
"What you put in your coffee? What are you doing, man?" But I did get MLB The Show 25. I'll talk about that a little later. I'm in early access right now, but I wanted to, before Dathan leaves, we want to talk about the Stan Lee documentary trailer. So it sounds like to me so if you haven't seen it, I've got the whole trailer here. We can just play it and then react to it if you guys are cool with that. And I definitely have some concerns. I don't know if concerns are the right words, and just interesting questions to ask. And maybe I'm curious if you guys have the same thoughts as I do. I gotta think, Dathan, you got some things on your chest maybe you want to talk about. So does that sound about right?
Sure.
Or yeah, okay,
Make it happen.
okay. And I haven't heard too many people make videos about this or anything. I guess I haven't searched for it, but
Well, it's only 3 days old.
you know, yeah. So, I wanted to share before we show the trailer. I have this. So, I think
I have.
Chris and I were talking before the show. We think this was like 2012 or 2013.
I have.
That's
no
about
upper
right.
hair lip.
Was that at Rose City? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. That may have been 2014.
If it was 2014, it must have been like January or something. It was really
And why-
early. But
Why did you decide not to grow the mustache along with the beard?
I think that was a period of time at which I was like trying to. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if I was trying to emulate some group of carpenters out there in the world, or what was going
it's
on.
It's just because I find that the upper lip is the biggest pain to shave.
Oh yeah.
So if I was going to give up one thing, it wouldn't be that. Yeah. You kind of reversed it the wrong way, I think.
I just think he looks like a baby in this picture. Like, he
So
looks
is this the time
super
that you guys
young to
didn't you
me.
guys say that you had to like glove up or basically or like be really careful?
Yes.
This was the time that you had to like be
You couldn't touch him. What was the thing?
I
Chris?
think I was actually standing like a foot back from him in this picture. It looks like we're closer than we actually were. And they told us we couldn't talk to him, we couldn't touch him, we had to try and like
talk
avoid
to him even. No like hello,
breathing
nothing.
on him. Like they
Oh.
were really like, yeah, you don't do
Okay.
anything. And I think
Okay.
he wanted to actually like interact, but
Oh,
because
really?
we were told not to. It was like in and out, in and out, in and out. Because this would have been
Yeah.
Wizard World
Mm-hmm.
before it was what is it now? Fan Expo.
Mm-hmm.
So
Was he a regular like fixture in these
Yeah.
sort of things? So he was at all of them for this sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Especially towards the later years of his life, he was definitely. We'll get to it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, but we'll play the trailer here. But like, I just want to say, like, we're part of the. Maybe Chris and I are part of the problem. Dathan, did you get a picture with him?
I don't think we
signed?
did. No, we didn't because they sold out really quick. I did talk to him in passing a couple times by himself. He was by himself, just walking down the show floor.
Oh, that's cool. And he didn't
No.
blow you off.
Not at all, because he was
Good.
by himself. He
'Cause
didn't
I-
have anybody next to him. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I have another celebrity story that kind of blew me off when I don't know what year was that. I can talk about that another time. But
I want to hear it.
anyway,
My name is John Bolerjack,
all right.
and for
So
the
let's
last
play the
4 years
trailer.
of Stanley's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend. I traveled the world with him, witnessing firsthand the incredible highs of his legendary career, but also the heartbreaking lows. Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment, manipulation, and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
Is there any way to get us out of the San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it?
Gotta do it.
At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it, but I did have a camera and I filmed everything.
Whoa, watch out! Jeez.
Now I'm asking for your help to finish the film and finally get justice for Stan. This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts. This isn't speculation, it's all on camera. Undeniable,
This is old Stan Lee coming at you. No, you're not old.
irrefutable,
I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No ambiguity. With your help, we can finish the film, expose the truth, and give Stan the justice he deserves.
Could you guys hear that okay? And then I have, there's one more clip, I guess they put out there, so I got that too.
Now, are you ready to give a riveting speech? You're gonna change lives.
I thought I was finished with that. What do I have to do now?
It's never over.
You what?
I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No. Once we're done, we'll get out of here.
Now what do I do here?
Same thing. Talk about you. We'll make some new questions.
But I don't have the.
Yes, you will. Yes.
You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go last. You can go first.
Well, I'm going to say right now with that photo we took with him, like all of this stuff, there's a lot of this information that came out after he passed away. So at the time, I don't know necessarily if we would have done a photo with Stan Lee knowing this was the treatment that was going on with him. But this kind of reeks of the same kind of nonsense we see nowadays where somebody's standing on a street corner with a camera recording someone being attacked, and they're just kind of standing there recording it happening and not doing anything to stop it. And so I'm sorry, this just doesn't feel like it's I'm doing this to get justice for Stan Lee. I'm doing justice to get money for me.
And launch a budding shockumentary career, right?
Because you could see him there off camera. He's like, "Oh, you got to keep doing this, Stan." I'm like, you don't have power. You could have been like, "Hey, you're the one in charge, Stan. If we want to stop, we can stop." And then the other guy's like, "I'm getting my money's worth." The one guy there obviously has no empathy at all to what Stan Lee's going through and didn't care one bit. He's like, "Yeah, I'm making money off of you, and I'll keep making money off of you." And it's just, I don't want to. It's a Kickstarter, and I have no interest in funding it. I don't want to watch it. I think that's as much as I want to do with it.
I'd be interested in watching it, but all right, yeah. First of all, the guy says he had no power to stop it. Really? Like you couldn't have said something, or told Stan, "Hey, are you done for the day? You want to go home? You want to cancel this?"
Well, and so I deal with this stuff in my personal life to a little bit, right? So if you were to see the way that I interact with my family at certain moments in the day, you would come away with a completely different impression than what our household is really like. Because when I'm out in public and when I'm about my business, I'm pretty short. Like last night, my wife said I look like I want to kill everybody. When I went to an event, and I'm just that way, right? But we also have a dialogue when we're out in public that's different than our dialogue and our conversational style when we're at home just relaxing. So if somebody was to follow me around with a camera, including in my house, they could edit out all of the good parts and really paint a picture that would look really, 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 really bad. And my wife would say, "No, that's him 20% of the time, and I know that. I knew that from back in the day. That's just how he is, and that's not anything bad," right? But it would look bad. So you can creatively edit things, and I don't know anything about the guy, any of the people involved, but I would just say the fact that the other guy didn't stand up, I hope, means that it seriously wasn't that bad, right? Because if there was something bad going on around me, I would get my hands dirty real quick, and I would get involved real quick, and that could be not good for me, but it's still going to happen, right? So the fact that he just sat there while this was going on makes me think that probably what we're dealing with is somebody who wants to have a budding career in shockumentary filmmaking and documentary style stuff, and really just can creatively make this stuff, take advantage of the fact that the guy that was doing it when he's working is a jerk, but maybe behind closed doors they had a completely different relationship. And I've seen this a lot in the music world, but anyway, it's just, to me that's what it kind of stinks like. um you know that's what it kind of stinks like to me.
Yeah. The whole thing about, also to me too, that he's putting this on a Kickstarter. Why not just release this video? Put it all together, just put it on YouTube or whatever. Why do you need to, if you're really doing justice for Stan, why even, if you I could pull up the Kickstarter here. There's a ton of different options of stuff. Like I see, like, there's this guy named Comic Tom. I see that guy everywhere. Like, he's got his own comic book distribution thing. Like, he can do his Stan Lee cover, and $50 you can get that. You can get this. Like,
Yeah.
And you can't tell me putting on a Kickstarter is like you don't have enough money, but like you can't tell me some of these TV outlets. Oh, Chris is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, or like TV shows, Inside Edition. Like I guarantee you people would love to have some of this footage for themselves, and they would pay for it. But he wants to do this at a Kickstarter. Well, he's back. It just seems crazy. So, and he wants to call attention to these guys that are, trying to make too much money off Stan Lee. Well, now that he's dead, and it's been 5 years or something, now it's okay to make some money off of him now. I don't know. It's just, you want to, I do feel bad for, sounds like what happened. And, I think about my grandparents, or, anyone getting older like that. Stan Lee was an incredible person, but at a certain point, you just can't do the things you used to do. And, he felt, I don't know if, I guess I need to see more, but like, why did Stan Lee feel like he just had to do, he had to do everything? So, and it sounds like he was maybe a people pleaser. I'm not sure, but Dathan, I want to hear what you got to say.
So here's my take. I agree with Chris. I don't have any interest in watching this because I think it's going to be it's going to be it's going to be depressing. I think. I think the guy that was the guy that was filming, I think he went into this filming Stan Lee, this documentary thing, not knowing what he was getting himself into. Meaning in the sense that he did not know what was going on with Stan Lee and that guy that was his handler. Do you want me to call his handler or whatever? But yeah, I don't have any interest in watching this because I think it will be. I don't think it'll be great. I do think that I don't want to say that towards the end for Stan Lee that I don't want to use the term brainwashed, but I think there was a little bit of he was being steered in the direction, and you said it best when he said like a people pleaser, So he wanted to be, because when you guys met him at Wizard World, you guys couldn't say anything to him or whatever. But when I walked by him,
Right.
I was like, "Hey Stan, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, it's such a great day. How are you?" And just stopped for just like, maybe a 25, 30-second conversation, and that was it, and kept going. There was nobody around. He was by himself. He didn't have that guy, which I'll get to in just a moment. Didn't have that guy, shoving him along or carding him or saying, "We're not done yet," or whatever. It was just him by himself. And so I think that he was tied down to this schedule to where he was just being run down, and it's a shame. So here's my take. I don't have many regrets in life, not too many, but I do. After watching this, there's definitely one that I have. I did not know who that guy was. That was the handler for Stan Lee. I met him at Emerald City in 2018 because Stan Lee was there doing his thing. And one of my coworkers at the time wanted me to get an autograph, wanted me to have him sign the Shield suitcase or DVD set or something like that. And so they had this huge booth set up, and it was like, oh, you can just go over to and you can buy a ticket and go wait in line and go for the Stan Lee thing. So that wasn't the case. They made him do two separate things where he had his regular autographs by the booth and autographs by the convention. So it was like two separate things. And so I walked up there and I said, "Hey, well, how does this work?" He's like, "Well, you pay us, and then we'll give you the product. You give us what you want signed, and then come back in a couple hours, and then we'll give it to you." I'm like, "Well, how really? That's how that works." And so, unknowingly on my part, I had no idea that all of this stuff was going on. What you guys said, if like Chris said, if this was going on, we wouldn't have got a picture. If I would have known this was going on, I would have not have even thought I would be like, hell no, there's no way I'm going to do this. And so I remember that picture that in the trailer that you saw that showed him with all those the shields and all the Thor hammer.
My name is John Bolerjack, and for the
and I can get that real quick here.
So at Emerald City, they had like this. For those who have been to Emerald City, like the old building, it's two separate buildings, and they have these big curtains set up with these big walls that are back, like the big open rooms that are back. But they had it covered with a curtain, so you couldn't see. But if you walked by like at a certain angle, you can kind of see back in the corner. And I remember walking by and kind of peeking around that corner because there wasn't security or there wasn't anybody there. And I just remember seeing Stan Lee sitting at a table with, what you see here times it by God knows how much stuff. And he just looked absolutely miserable. And it was just one of those things where you're just like, oh my God, what, and I had no clue. I had absolutely no idea. And I do regret that. If me unknowingly, if I would have known anything like that, I would have been like, no, here's give my coworkers money back. Be like, no, I'm not contributing to this at all. And that was in 2018. I think he passed in 2019. I think it was, or maybe it was late 2018.
It was 2018 November.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Honestly, there may be Emerald City Comic-Con videos in this documentary. I don't know. But it was pretty disturbing. And as soon as I saw, because I saw the clip first, the 45-second clip. I didn't see the whole trailer. I saw the clip first, and then as soon as I saw that guy walk up and put his hand on the wheelchair, I was like, oh my God, like that. It was just like a gut punch.
Yeah, and I don't have the whole thing here, but apparently he was fired at one point.
Yeah, it's a bad.
But again, why? The guy said he was powerless to stop it. I mean, I just
So I know that there was a time where it was addressed. There was some sort of, I don't know, Chris, you can probably look it up maybe, but there was a time where people were concerned about his health and his overall well-being, and people reached out, and then Stanley posted something, or someone said, like, he's like, everything is fine, don't worry about me or whatever. Now, was he writing that? I don't know. None of us know that.
yeah.
But it's hard to say. It's hard to say, like, towards those later years, like, how much was he in control of anything at all? Like, it's just, you can see him in the video. He's like, can we just be done? And the guy's like, no, we have to do San Francisco. No, we have to do this, and we have to do that. But it's I have no interest in watching this, because honestly it's just,
well, it does no good to anybody, to be honest, except for the guy trying to kickstart the thing.
It does.
Yeah.
Then that's it, right?
I'm just gonna get frustrated, and
Yeah.
it's not I don't think
I mean,
it's
the
good.
only thing that he could try to do is try to bring light into a way that actors and actress, the actors and
That's what I was thinking
and
too.
other celebrities, as they get older, could be railroaded into these sort of things. But at the same time, I would need to know more. Like, I'm kind of skeptical. And that's because I've seen too many documentaries.
I need to
like
know more
this.
too. That's why I want to watch it.
I mean, I have no interest in seeing it, but at the same time, I've seen too many documentaries edited to look persuasive in the way that they want to. And I've seen that too often. I would want to know, because Stanley was a New York guy, right? Like, wasn't he? He was a New York guy. In New York guys have just different modes of communication. And I would want to know more about how he got hooked up with these people, if they were a management team, what the terms and conditions were for it, whether even that part where he says, can't we just skip the next city? And then they say, no, we got to do it. I want to know more, like, was that like when, because again, I know the music world, when a band says, man, I really don't want to play Portland tonight, and their manager says, look, there's 500 people there waiting to see you. I know it's not 5,000, but it's 500. You're playing Portland tonight. And then the band goes and does their set. I kind of want to know if that was just more of, again, a conversational style that they had, or whether it really was him saying, like, I don't want to do this. And then them saying, too bad, old man, get on stage. That's what you're doing. Right?
Well,
like, whether it was abuse or whether it was more just the working relationship that they had. I don't know.
I found an article from AARP that talks about the whole thing, and apparently a lot of it was after his wife passed away.
Okay,
that's
so she may have been the check and balance.
She was apparently the one that she kept track of all the funds. She told him, no, you can't do all these these appearances and everything. So I
mean, yeah, and elder abuse sucks. I mean, I've had to deal a little bit with it, because my wife makes me do the dishes and stuff. That's not cool. I know. But no, I mean, it's a thing where it does suck, but at the same time, at the end of the day, Dathan, you can't feel. I mean, you can. I can't tell you how to feel, but if I were you, I'd give yourself a pass on this, because you had no idea, right? And
No.
this.
I can't imagine. Can you imagine signing all that stuff? It seems like that's crazy amount of work.
I think if we ever reach celebrity status, I'm buying a stamp. Everything's getting a stamp.
Or you could do what Steve Martin did, which is carry a business card. Because I know somebody got one that says, I met Steve Martin. And then he just gives them out when he's out on his jog and stuff, right? He used to. I don't know if he still does. But yeah, that used to be.
I had heard him recently. He talked about, he still does.
Oh, does he really?
If somebody asks him for a signature, he hands him a business card that says, I met Steve Martin.
Yeah, I knew somebody that got one. They saw him running, jogging in the park, in like Central Park or whatever, and they were like, hey, aren't you Steve Martin? He said, yeah, let's make this quick. It's good to meet you. And here, now you can tell everybody.
Yeah.
And then they got this little business card that just said, "I met Steve Martin."
And then I
They're
guess
like, "Nobody's gonna
apparently
believe this."
Martin Short will just dress you down.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
Yeah. Well, he
I mean,
does.
I'm
I
not-
guess
I'm-
he does it in supposedly a funny way. I don't know. I've never
okay,
met Martin
okay.
Short,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it apparently at their thing in Bend where it was Steve Martin, Martin Short did their stand-up comedy tour. People had meet and greets with them afterwards, and Martin Short would just like make fun of somebody. It's like, oh, look at you dressing up for us in shorts.
Eric's in ballet tonight, guys. So
Yeah,
Of
I
course
know.
he is.
Of course he is.
He's
But
got to
yeah,
learn
but-
how to do that tremblay or whatever it is.
It's unfortunate. Elder abuse does happen and all of that. But at the same time, one, you guys wouldn't have known any better. But I guess in hindsight, you could have been like, well, that was kind of strange, and you have to stand far away and all this. But even that, I would have, when you guys told me that story, I just thought that that's just because he's old and he doesn't want to get sick because he's got to do a million of these things. That to me sounds like
Yeah, and that's
an
what we
elder
thought.
like person, not somebody saying like, look here, old man, sit on that chair and nobody's getting close to you because we got to do tomorrow and I don't want you dying. Like none of it screams that. It screams the other way. The reasonable assumption is to just think that that's just Stan Lee, and that's it,
and
right?
Yeah, and that one really did kind of. It was, I think it was more off-putting the way that the workers at Wizard World put it when they talked to you. It was like they were dressing you down, like you're too stupid to know that he's an elderly man, so definitely don't do these things. But it was kind of like when they're like, don't breathe in his direction. I'm like, how the hell do you stop yourself from doing that?
Right.
When you're like supposed to be looking at the camera and the way he's facing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
Dathan, how many celebrities like are going to these now that are like really old? Like I know of William Shatner, he's in his 90s. He's the only one I can really think of. You go to more conventions than anyone else I know.
That Denise Richards makes an appearance every once in a while, I think.
But she's not in her 90s, right? If she is,
and
she
she
looks
clearly
good.
needs the money though.
No,
I mean, not like needs the money, but you know what I mean. Like that is her
probably-
career now to an extent, right? Because she's Real Housewives, TV show.
It's hard to let's see. Nick Castle, he's getting up there. He was the first Michael Myers. We met him in October. Man, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't really like Stan Lee's age. No, I don't. Not even close.
The only thing that I find weird, and that I've always found weird about, and especially that's why I asked, was Stan Lee a fixture at these things? And I wasn't asking because of the elder abuse thing at all. It just is odd to me that he wouldn't need the cash. Like he wouldn't need it, right? Like he had an empire of cash that just
who's he doing
right
it for?
that he didn't need it. The other people that you've listed, and the only one that doesn't probably is William Shatner. But if he made his investments right. But the weird thing about William Shatner is I've heard enough interviews from him that guy seems with it. He seems like a character, and he seems like he really would just want to do these things. But he does seem like he'd be able to say, like, I don't want to do them, and I'm not doing them if he didn't want to. Like I've heard recent interviews with him, and he seems really with it.
Dathan, talk about Mark Hamill too. How much he was charging.
So this is I haven't. So when where do I start? So the picture that I sent you, I posted in Discord about at a fan expo, he charges for like if you were to get a lightsaber sign, I think it was $700. Like an 8x10, I think was $400, and there was another one, like maybe a Funko Pop. I don't know. There were 3 different price scales.
And that's just to sign it. No, nothing else.
Just to sign it, nothing else.
Huh.
Yeah,
wow.
There was nothing.
Do you think he had the same amount of stuff that Stan Lee just in that last footage was signing? Because I feel maybe that's what Stan Lee needed to do. And you balk at him, having those high prices, and it sucks. But at the same time, if Stan Lee had like really high prices for his autograph, maybe he would have been.
But you can look at this at another angle, man. I remember it cost my coworker $120 to get the autograph for Stan Lee, $120, and that was signed on like a big bulky thing. That's how much it was, 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So if you charge $500, there not many people are getting autographs, and who's not getting money? His handlers aren't getting money. They're making these affordable so that they can keep the cash flowing in. That's why. And while he's sitting there, it's like every time that one of the signatures, every time one of those signatures goes on there, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, another $100, $100.
The handler wants the money.
How many Mjolnirs and cap shields and whatever else is in that.
Well, and I believe at the time too, Stan Lee was the face of Marvel, and so he was paid like a yearly salary from Marvel too.
Right? Yeah, he didn't get the cash.
So it wasn't.
We can't just poo-poo on the handler. I think we also need a poo-poo on these events. Like, who organized them? Who is running them? Why aren't they going up to Stan Lee and seeing how things are? And why can't the kid that's filming have the courage to speak up about it?
I mean,
the event.
I know they want money. They want more money too. But at the same time,
this is a failure on everybody's part, from the studio that's paying him a yearly salary to the cameraman down at the bottom. It's everybody should have looked at it and said, "Hey, here we have a 91-year-old man. Should he be doing this? Why is nobody stepping in?" Like it.
Maybe even Marvel Studios, he was doing all those cameos for all those films, all those Marvel films. Even they probably somebody there should have known, hey, Stan Lee, he's good for, so much time here, and we want to be so gracious. And, did he never talk to anybody, or was it just like, bring him in, do it, and get out, and that's it, and have a nice day, Stan?
I don't
know. There's more stuff. There's more info I feel like I need to find
from what
out.
I do.
But I'm sorry if I'm dwelling on this a little bit, but it's really interesting.
But what I do remember, though, is that what I remember reading somewhere along the way is that Stan Lee was kind of a hustler back in the day. Like he himself was like about the dollar and about earning it any which way he could, right? So that even built his comic book empire and all of that too. But then there was also people who accused him of being unscrupulous in business things. And then later some women accused him of being unscrupulous in his old age as well. So he doesn't have a clean record when it comes to a lot of the accusations and all of this too. So if you're running a convention, I'm going to give those guys a pass, because oftentimes those sort of things are built monkey see, monkey do, right? So you say like, oh, well, here's the 10 people I get, and I just have a panel of people, and then I have a bunch of vendors, and I have a couple, like you kind of just copy, I'm guessing, what other conventions do. And then from there on, it's so busy and so random of the nature of firefighting when you're putting one of these things on. I don't think you have a lot of time to go talk to the celebrities and see how they're personally doing. I think you just trust that they have their own business and they know what they're doing. So yeah, I'd actually give.
I don't know.
Pass.
I think if I owned a convention, I'd want to go talk to the top
but you may not be allowed
there.
to. Like in the musician world,
even if it's your convention.
In the musician world, if you've got Metallica playing the Moda Center, there are going to be rules as to who at the Moda Center that runs it can go say hi to those guys. And it's not because they're jerks. Okay. It's because that's just their management company was hired to make sure that their roster is treated all exactly the same. So, and that's Q Prime for those guys. So they may want to talk to you, but they do hire somebody to kind of put a buffer between that. And that buffer is the same for them as it is for all the other artists that Q Prime manages. That's what you pay for, right? Like that's what they pay for. So in a way, I mean, because I do know this firsthand, there are certain times when you think like, dude, you can talk to that guy. You are at this level of this venue. And they're like, "Oh, no. I would get fined by the company, and we wouldn't make any money if I broke the rule." So, I'm just saying they may not know, they may not be able to, or they may just think that it's not right.
I think we'll keep an eye on this. Like, I don't know when. Well, I'm curious if this Kickstarter is going to get funded.
I kind of hope not.
At least,
I mean, I do hope that
we'll see.
That Stan Lee wasn't being elder abused. I do want to make that clear, but at the same time, I don't want to see somebody make profit off of it a second time. That's not cool.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
No, on the Kickstarter, is he at least saying, I'm going to throw all of this towards a nonprofit? That because he's just got this footage. The footage is there. I can't really see a lot of money needed to just release it. Editing nowadays.
I hadn't heard that.
Give me a break.
Let me see if there's anything. Let's see.
Because that's the only way, in my opinion, that if you've got this, you can save face by actually making money to release it. Would be if you're going to donate.
We'll play the stall music.
So it looks like they're just wanting to raise enough funds to be able to pay to finish the movie. That's what. That's all they're saying.
Why just put?
What's the cap on it?
Just put all the unedited footage together. Who cares?
That's the whole thing. Is why not just put the unedited footage out there and let people? I mean, I kind of can see why they wouldn't want to put all the unedited footage out, because there might be something there that.
Editing's not going to cost much. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. It costs time.
Oh, their production and post-production costs are to pay for their crew, feeding them, equipment rental, soundstage space, set construction, casting, wardrobe, hair and makeup, editing, music composition, visual effects, color correction, sound design, effects and mixing, song clearances, content clearances, and legal fees. I think that's in the Kickstarter. I guarantee you right there, it's the legal fees right there is what he's probably really wanting to try and cover.
Sure.
Because if the Stan Lee estate, or I don't know if his daughter's still alive, but if she decides to sue,
I don't think it'd be her. It wouldn't be her. It'd be the people that he's showing the true colors of.
Why not just give the footage to somebody else who has the money and be done with it? Wash your hands with it. But it's. I don't know.
It seems just as shady.
That's crazy.
It seems like profiting off of a bad thing or making a career out of a bad thing. I've got questions.
So, all right, we can move on. But thanks for sharing that, Dathan, because I had no idea that was even a thing before you shared it. I was like, all right. I was hoping the whole movie.
You're the one who found the Kickstarter, Dathan. I forget where it originated, or the trailer.
I found just a.
Oh, that's right, because you said you wanted to talk about it. Yeah.
I found that 40-second clip on X, and then that led me to the rabbit hole of the documentary, and then all the other stuff that was going on there.
But up until this point, because you go to these conventions, there was never any grumbling, never any rumors, never anything like that, right?
He goes to every convention. Let's be clear.
And there was nothing ever.
Nope.
Right?
Nothing at all.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that sucks if it's all true, even if it was only for a day. It sucks, right? Like if somebody not of the right mind is being taken advantage, regardless of, that goes young, that goes old. That sucks, right? That does suck. But let's not profit on it a second time, or let's not see something out of it that way.
We better talk about some pinball news here for Meatball Slushy.
What you got?
Yeah, there was another Kickstarter. I don't have any footage of it, but is he talking about the Alice in Wonderland thing?
So.
Yeah.
So there's another Kickstarter right now that I guess was funded in 2 minutes it's like a sub $1,000 machine, and as far as I know, like there's some interesting, like it's not like a real, well, it's not like Stern quality, obviously. And I've heard that the pinball balls are like smaller than the normal.
I just linked
yeah.
it in the private chat.
Yeah, I got it here.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. For me, I'm not interested in it. But if you guys, if Meatball, are you getting it? I'd be curious to see how it goes. It is interesting. Some of these companies, when they put things on Kickstarter like that, like, they say it got funded in 2 minutes. I've already been hearing, like, I watched Bkong put out a video yesterday about it a little bit, and there, people debating why did they put the goal so low, because the goal that they made in 2 minutes, like they only had to make 100, and
it looks super simple playfield. Not that that's necessarily bad, but it just looks like something that you'd buy and then you're gonna sell it because the replay doesn't seem to be there to me.
Yeah, the license to me, Alice in Wonderland is a fun children's book, and but like I have no desire to put that in my house, and I have a bad feeling that people aren't gonna like it when they get it.
It's because it's public domain. They don't have to pay anybody for the rights.
Well, it's not only that. It's, I feel like the quality of the machine is not.
Well,
it
doesn't look. I don't like that mock-up at all.
Apparently, if Dathan, if you're going to go to WonderCon in Anaheim at the end of the month, maybe you are, because like you go to.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to WonderCon. I'm going to the Gaming Expo at the end of the month.
I'd love you to go to WonderCon because that thing will be there. You can check it out, and Mondo is going to have a booth there. You can check that out too.
I've been seeing a few Mondo booths before. It's crazy. They're super busy.
But it'd be. I don't know. You take a little bit of a risk, and the same thing. I took a risk on the Iconic Arcade. That's not even out yet, and. Well, they took my money already, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know if it's fun to be the first to get something and check it out, and if it's bad, you're like it was your money to waste, but if it was good, whatever.
That was the perfect time for you to use the stop spending your money on stupid shit.
Yeah, where is that? I got so many sounds now.
I know. It's great.
He just never brings up my VHS porn collection anymore. I've just been lost in the shuffle.
Stop spending
I
your
still
money
got that too.
on stupid shit.
I got the. I also got the sound clip of the Mariners announcer getting hit by the foul ball that they played on the sports radio show. Have you guys heard that?
I watched it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Right.
By Vargas, here's the pitch. Swinging a foul.
Did it get you?
Poor guy.
Oh man.
So when it comes to the Alice in Wonderland thing, I will say this to just give them some credit there. Have you guys played the because it's not my IP either, like I'm not an Alice in Wonderland guy, but I'm also not a Wizard of Oz guy. And have you played the Jersey Jack Wizard of Oz pinball table? It's cool.
I have.
Like, I think it's cool, right? I don't know what your thoughts were on it, Dathan, but they were able to do some really cool stuff with the Wizard of Oz.
I think that was one of the first Jersey Jacks they did.
Yeah,
Jersey Jack did. I think that was that one, and they did a construction, a road construction one. I think it was. It's at Ground Control.
And the road construction one didn't do anything for me, but the Wizard of Oz thing, they did some cool stuff with that, with that thing. So, and I'm not at all into Wizard of Oz. Like, it's just, not my thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, it's supposed to be based on the movie or the book?
Which one?
The Jersey Jack Wizard of Oz.
The movie.
This is the movie.
Yeah,
'Cause they
'cause
did
it's
a
got
they did a
clips from
Hobbit.
it
They
and
did a
stuff.
Hobbit one too.
Oh, did they? How was that?
That's maybe it was the Hobbit was the first one that they did.
Oh yeah, I see it here.
But that was they're pretty good. They were very, very expensive when they came out. They were around 9,000, I think.
Yep.
8 to 9,000. So, and that's when Stearns were still, I think, six or seven.
It's actually a pretty nice looking table. So
the only reason I bring that up is just because that's an example of something that, like, quote unquote, doesn't do it for me, but the table was surprisingly cool. So they could have done something neat with Alice in Wonderland, but instead it looks pretty boring and like you'd lose interest and garage sale it in a couple months.
Also, if this product from the Alice in Wonderland table is good and you invested in it, you know, you can feel good about helping this company out, and you know, maybe they'll build another one and it'll be a license you like. So there is that. So it could be fun. Could be fun. Dathan, you got to go?
What time is it? Yeah, I should probably go because it's after 10.
10:08.
Okay.
You can turn into a pumpkin.
All right. Have fun this week.
Go win a race.
I'm just got to finish it. That's all I care.
That's right.
Just finish the damn thing.
Go finish your race.
Yeah.
Get a beer at the end.
I will see you guys next week. Everyone get in the Discord and chat, and then have a good week.
You too, Dathan.
Yeah, everyone
Have a
join
good
the
one.
Discord if you're not already.
All right.
Cool. All right.
Sit back.
I wanted to talk about MLB The Show real quick.
Drilled in the air. Deep right field. Van back. Onto the track. And he makes the catch.
That first stuff about Stan Lee is depressing.
Yeah.
So that might have been one of the heaviest things we ever talked about on this show.
It looks like baseball. Question is, can you hit the announcers with a foul ball?
I was gonna say, can you whack him in the back of the head? With
Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul.
Did it get you?
Oh, I feel bad he got hit by a foul ball, but
he's fine.
It's really weird. Oh man, hit me in there. But I wanted to show off. I got my green. My son I asked my son what team I wanted to be, and he said, "You should be the Ducks, Daddy." So all right, I changed it. I'm the Ducks. Those are really obnoxious uniforms. But that's what I'm going to rock with this year.
No more millions than the normal uniforms.
Yeah. So overall, the game, it's very much a game of skill, and you got to be able to hit the ball. And
does it play any different than last year's version? Or
slightly. Like I feel like your outfield players are a little slower, and it's because the power curve has been lowered because they're not doing seasons this year. They're doing a whole yearly, just big power curve for the whole year. So right now, when you're doing Diamond Dynasty, you're starting off with really low cards, so it can do a slow build up throughout the year. In last year and previous versions, they did the seasons where you could get the best cards right at the beginning, but you could only play those cards in season 1. You couldn't move them over to season 2, and there were some certain circumstances where you could bring 1 or 2 cards over. But they want their goal is to get as many people playing as long as possible, so they can get people buying cards and stuff. And I'm trying not to do that, but it's really fun when you can you get some skill and you can hit the ball, and that's fun. And if Chris ever got, or anyone else out there wants to do, you can play co-op now, so you can play on the same team. That'd be fun.
What system are you playing on?
And yeah, I got on PlayStation, so I would have got it on Xbox, but it's not on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So. And J-Rod's talking about 8-bit gaming, so he's here till the end. But I'll be playing this off.
I did want to mention though, I didn't get to earlier when you were talking about RoboForce. Obviously, that has made a huge deal for Nacelle because they're completely sold out of their Wave 1 of RoboForce. So just announcing that cartoon has been a big hit for them.
Oh, and did you see who? There's a celebrity that's helping.
Yeah,
produce
it's Dwayne
this.
Johnson. It's his $7 production, his movie studio, because they also were involved in Black Adam, which was could have been a better movie.
Meatball, I want to say my favorite of those is MLB 25, but I'm a baseball fan. It's whatever.
We just got in WWE today. Yes.
Oh, you did? I'd show footage there, but last year we got a copyright claim.
Yeah.
You remember that? So I'm not showing anything from WWE, but if you want to talk about it,
still the one video on my channel I haven't bothered to fix, but yeah. No, my sister-in-law wanted to play it really bad, so she bought it. So at some point I'll probably give it a try. And then I can go to the island. Or maybe that's something you have to pay to do to go to the island. I don't know. But I know I can play as Stone Cold and beat up on women in the game, apparently.
Oh.
Because they allow you to do intergender matches. So
Stone Cold's intergender?
You can have Stone Cold play against Liv Morgan or whoever, some of the more popular.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you could have him get a sex change.
No.
Can't you do the edit of the character?
I don't know.
You can't do that?
I don't think you can.
This is 2025, Chris. Come on.
Didn't all that change though at the beginning of February?
What's the John Cena thing? Now you see me.
Well, have you seen the marketing material that's come out for WrestleMania for John Cena? He's apparently got a long beard, and it now says corporate Cena because he apparently sold his soul to The Rock. Turned his back on Cody Rhodes or whatever is going on.
Yeah, it's all fake, Chris. I hate to tell you.
Well, the matches are predetermined, but I'm sorry, when a guy jumps 20 feet in the air, it's kind of hard to fake some of that stuff.
Meatball, yeah.
Ex-wife.
After talking about Stan Lee, I guess we're going off the deep end.
Ex-wife Meatball Saucy, and it's allegedly. We always use allegedly to cover our asses, okay?
Holy catfish!
All right. I also wanted to talk about. I guess we should have talked about this when Dathan was here, but the Walmart Collector Con was yesterday and today. Chris, did you buy anything at Walmart?
I did not.
What is that? Does that mean that in the Walmart stores they actually set up some stuff?
No, this is all at Walmart.com.
Okay.
They put all of these toys up. They put them in waves, so half of them got put up on Thursday, and the other half got put up on Friday.
Speaking of Stone Cold, is that him up in the corner?
Kind of looks like him.
I don't know who that's supposed to be, but I can't believe you don't have the John Cena one.
I don't have any wrestling.
They had they have apparently a see-through one It's just a clear
Oh,
figure that's
yeah.
John.
This isn't everything. This isn't everything. I just pulled this random picture, but yeah, there was another. That robot in the back looks kind of clear. But anyway, a lot of these are still available on their website right now, so I want to give props to Walmart. And I usually don't want to do that, but I hate going into Walmart and if there's an item I really want to get that's a Walmart exclusive, that sucks. And I remember going into Moss to try to find Moss Man a couple years ago, and it was so bad. I eventually found him, but if you're gonna do this, oh, okay, Travis is gone. If they're gonna have an item that I really want, put them on the website where we can all buy them. And I wanted Spider-Man, so I got him for sure. And and I also got Ghost Spider up in the corner. And
yeah, that one's still available. The regular Spider-Man you can't.
Oh, the regular Spider-Man's gone now?
The 77 one that you got there?
Yeah.
That one you can't pre-order anymore.
Oh, okay. It's sold out then.
Let's see what else they got going on here. A lot of Lego stuff.
I don't think the Lego stuff was exclusive, was it?
I don't know, but this is all I just searched under CollectorCon, and so there's a bunch of Lego stuff. There's a Venom.
I have a feeling Dathan bought some of those Transformers.
Let's see. The Black Count Dooku. I don't know if you got that one.
Yeah. That was they did a couple that are in the Star Wars Episode 3 packaging.
Yeah, so 20 years currently ago. The ones that are sold out is the 77 Spider-Man, the You Can't See Me John Cena, and whatever a Great Muda is. I have no idea. But yeah, there's it's. Let's see what Transformers they have still. Yeah, they've still got the 2 Transformers ones. They just say Transformers Age of Prime Deluxe. So
okay.
I don't know which ones they are exactly.
But you didn't get anything.
No, I kind of looked at it, but there was nothing that, like, outside of that 77 Spider-Man, which was already gone at the time I decided to pre-order it. Couldn't get that one, so okay. I mean the Spider-Verse one, the Gamerverse, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, whatever, looks nice.
I don't even remember that as a character in the game.
I don't know I don't know if that was Spider-Man 1 or 2.
I think it was 1. Had to have been.
But yeah, I didn't check that one. I was looking at Mondo had actually released some more vinyl soundtracks, and they released you can get Silent for $4.
Oh. Yeah, Mondo puts out a lot of cool stuff. Did you guys want to talk about the Atari suing Arcade One Up?
I didn't see it. I saw you talk a little bit or mention it in Discord, and then that was the end of it.
What is me? Unless we want to talk about this.
Yeah, I guess. I got bothered by my wife.
Whatever makes it happen, But yeah, apparently, should I be more involved in this in the home arcade community than I like? I guess James Hates Everything broke this yesterday or maybe the day before or something. But Atari is suing Arcade One Up for their licensing agreement with Atari. They had several benchmark payments they were supposed to be making, and apparently Arcade 1-Up stopped paying them in January 2024, and they're suing them for almost $1 million.
Atari is for what they're owed in back payments for royalty stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
it makes sense because Arcade 1-Up had to get that influx of cash last year, and
right,
they
did a loan.
were on the verge of going under at that point, and I think ever since then they've been on the verge of going under, and they just keep releasing the same. I think they're currently trying to be the rock star of arcade machines and re-release the same model in a new edition. So I think by the time the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox whatever comes out, we'll get another Grand Theft Auto 5 before we see Grand Theft Auto 6.
No, I think you're not going to. Arcade 1-Up is going to be dead this year. I think this is what this means. And it's funny, Chris. When we went to PAX West, we checked out the Atari 50th machine, and the video is up on my channel. Maybe I should post a link to it.
It's a nice machine,
but
it was
But that was when they were making their payments to Atari.
Yeah, that was 2023 winter, wasn't it?
Right. So it's really, really fascinating, these licensing agreements and how they work.
Well,
I heard about it today watching Glenn's show.
It's too bad that Joe's not here to tell me why. Right? Well,
yeah, where's Joe?
No. Here's the question that I would have is why when Atari was being approached for these things, why did Atari license what they had if they're looking at getting back into business, which they did, why aren't they doing this themselves? Why aren't they creating little cabinets for home?
Agreed.
Right? It's what they did in the 80s.
If Atari's so big, why can't they make these
not
themselves?
Even if they're so big,
I
they
agree.
don't even have to be that big because it's Arcade 1-Up is doing it, and they're not big. They're having trouble. I'm just curious why Atari didn't see, instead of licensing to now, especially with the trouble, this is their opportunity to go ahead and just take this and put these things in Costco themselves.
They probably went on Shark Tank and somebody was like, well, if you license this out, you'll be able to make a much bigger profit margin than if you actually built the cabinets.
Well, and you don't have to bear the inventory because that's a big deal, right? So you don't have to forecast
all the risk
sales.
is on those
risk
guys.
Is on them. But now that you've seen it, you can use you now have the data to know what the forecast looks like, and then you can then go and find a manufacturer to just do your little cabinets for you, and then you can take the money yourself. Based off the license, what they sold.
If they really wanted to be diabolical and do this right, what they would do is they would release the cabinets with a DVD or Blu-ray drive that you have to update yearly. So you have to pay them a new fee in order to get the new version.
No, you don't even have to do that. What they could do is just create the cabinet and then sell subscriptions. Right. And then that's it. Just keep the subscription unlocked. And then on top of that, you can even do a tier service of support where you can get replacement parts for each year that you buy into it. So you can just keep selling extended warranties on top of that. That's my take. That's what I think that they could do. So yeah, your idea is good about that, but I think why even do that? Just subscription it. 1 year subscription, whatever, and then you get all of the games, or you get 50 games, and then do different tiers of subscriptions, right? But give the consumer one game that's unlocked indefinitely.
E.T.
Or 5 games. Yeah, E.T. But E.T. wasn't an arcade game, though.
No, but they got licensing agreements to do the 2600 games that were on the Atari 50th cabinet. But Chris, did you watch part of that video that I was talking about? One of the games that they actually eventually got were allowed to do something with was
Oh,
E.T.
really?
It was in there.
No,
So they could have done something and they didn't.
see, and I think if Atari was smart, what they'd try and do is go back and like do an ET sequel. Because
Pick
I
up
mean,
where you left off.
I mean, if they're kind of starting
Make it
to
right.
do this whole thing where they're retro's kind of picking up with a lot of the older generation that played games when they were younger, and have now come to this point where there's a lot of kind of indie developers who are going back and remaking or retroizing games to make them look like they're older. Like somebody could make a good ET game that looks like the older Atari style. So, I mean, Joe really needs to be here to talk to us about how ET could be the best game ever made in Atari style.
I was thinking Arcade 1-Up was going to get bought out by Atari.
Yeah, but
and
they don't
funny
need to do that, though.
No, the reverse has happened. Atari is suing.
Yeah, because they
Arcade
just want the
1-Up.
royalty. I think that they just want the royalty. Now the question is behind closed doors, are they also saying, okay, we'll get whatever we can from them because we are owed that, but what we need to do is we need to just go ahead and take this market ourselves. We can do this for the holidays and put out a cabinet that way.
Well, and the other news is there's what is it? Basic Fun. Like I'm not like the most into this, but apparently they have the Atari license now to do mid-size and full-size arcade.
Okay, so then
cabinets.
Atari just wants to license it, not bear the risk of,
Yes.
I mean, licensing is quick money.
Yes.
It's just, without any risk.
Yes,
The risk is this. Exactly what they're going through now. The company didn't pay you. They owe you a bunch of royalty cash, and they went under. So you're never seeing the money.
Right. Then what
Nothing.
do you do?
You just write it off. And
They're gonna
say,
go.
yeah.
Is Arcade 1-Up gonna declare bankruptcy?
Yeah, sure, they
here?
will. I mean, that would be my
And-
guess. I mean, I'm not saying they will, but my guess would be, yeah, because they don't have the cash to pay him, or else they'd pay him and be happy. The net terms have expired, and then
Yeah.
that's a whole snowball.
They don't have the cash to
Right.
pay him. So what's gonna happen? Are those guys gonna go to jail?
No.
Well, and I mean, Atari had just released their, what was it,
Corp
2600
Incorporated.
Plus, which was their retro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Joe's thing.
Yeah.
So
He's the only one that bought
Yeah.
it, though.
well, you've got all those Atari games still, don't you?
I've got about 10 or 12
Yeah.
or something, but it's
So if your Atari craps out, you can always
I-
buy an Atari 2600 Plus, according to Joe.
those good thing about those old
They still
machines. They still work.
Yeah.
I think the problem is finding a TV that can play
It's
it.
it's like the old dot matrix printers. They still work.
Yeah, can you hook those up to a modern computer though?
I don't know.
See that I don't know.
No, because they
the
use
printer.
LPT1
Do you remember the old
ports,
printers
so you'd have
had
to
like
get
a big?
conversion. Yeah, they used LPT1
Yeah,
ports. There might be USB to LPT1.
but it's not like
Yeah,
wow, I
you could-
really
it's a
want to go out
parallel
and get a
port.
dot matrix printer. Like like no one says that.
Yeah, so there are USB to parallel port adapters out now.
Failure to pay does not result in jail time with private
That's
companies.
because
Right, that's
private
correct.
companies are not people. Come on, we all
Right,
know
they're
this.
incorporated. Yeah.
They don't have any rights.
That's why they have an LLC, and it's
Oh, yeah, or
they're all
all
Yeah,
protected.
Yeah.
that's why my YouTube name is an LLC. It's all. No,
Is it really? Did you?
I really should. I really
You
should
can-
because
You can claim all those toys as a business.
one of these
expense.
days somebody's going to sue me for saying something I shouldn't, and
Yeah, you should have protection.
They probably already have.
I'm sure at one point I'm going to get a thing from Joe telling me that I'm I'm under a lawsuit in New Jersey court. And then, of course, I'm going to have to fly out to New Jersey and kind of, defend
I
myself.
remember that commercial, J-Rod, yeah, because it was annoying.
I don't remember that commercial.
I don't remember that. But then again, we weren't, I think up until 93.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't let us watch TV at night.
Yeah. It was during the day, though.
And
It was on during the day.
now you watch every movie that comes out.
That is right, I do. Except I didn't watch the new Dave Bautista film.
But here, I was thinking about in a little bit about like, so some decisions I make are because high school Travis or elementary school Travis would kick old Travis's butt if he knew that old Travis could do something that young Travis wanted to do but wasn't doing it. So like there are certain movies I'll go see because even though I have no interest in them at my age now, I know that it's an opportunity that young Travis would have wanted to do. Right. So I do make certain decisions based on that, but that could be you with the movies thing, right? Because you couldn't watch TV after a certain hour, so now you stay up all night watching TV.
I think he's blowing this up because I ever since I've known Chris, you've liked.
Oh yeah, I've always
like,
once movies, TV shows were kind of opened up to us because we kind of had to badger my mom until she finally was just like, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want, and then. But my dad had always hated the fact that we were able to do. Like when my dad would go out of town, we would go to fast food for dinner or we'd go out to eat. When my dad was home and my mom was gone, he'd cook food and we'd be like, well, mom takes us out to eat at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. And he never really liked that so much. But I think once we got...
And then you ended up working for Burger King.
But once we got my mom to cave, it was like the gates opened, and so there was a lot of things we were able to do. But like I was homeschooled until 7th grade year, and that's when I had to fight to go to public school. And of course, I was stuck with I don't know if you remember Joey Hatfield. It was my locker.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Locker mate, but
dox people on our show.
Yeah. No, anyway, so I was like. My locker mate, my 7th grade year, apparently was like hated by everybody in the school, and somehow I got lumped in with him. Yeah. I still don't know why he was ever hated.
You had to get somebody.
You have to. At that age, there has to be somebody. But what I was going to say was that I'm surprised that I don't gravitate towards like, hey, I always wanted an Atari as a little kid, but my parents never let me have one, so now I'm going to get one. Like that part, for some reason, that exact console and moment in time, those rules don't apply. You know what I mean? It's weird that way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of... It's funny lately. A lot of YouTube videos I've gravitated towards lately have been like building houses in the middle of the woods. Like this man, 30 days to build this log cabin in the woods. And I'm like, man, if I was 20 years younger, I would be out there doing this right now myself. And it's like, no, I wouldn't. I don't think I would be doing that. But it's fascinating to sit there and watch a person like from start to finish build some of these things. And so I think with movies, there's a lot of it that I'm just like, because of my job and what I'm interacting with on a daily basis, I'm like, I want to get away from this stuff.
Right.
Sure.
So I'm constantly like, I want escapism. That's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And some of these movies, I watch trailers and I'm just like, this is what I'm looking for. It's escapism from what's going on. And then other ones, I see the trailer and I'm like, this looks just like what's going on right now, and I don't want to watch it.
But at the same time, I think there's a story behind that guy with you sharing a locker with him. That could be a movie or a book right there. You could write, or that's like horror movie material.
Well,
right
and
there.
I think wasn't there the one year at South where we had a locker together and all we used it for was to leave Dunkin' Donuts boxes behind.
Yeah,
we never used the locker.
There was no point. No,
it was just and so when the semester ended and we had to clean out the locker and return all the school books, it was just like leftover donuts.
Maybe we did share a locker. Yeah, I've completely blocked that out. You were my Joey Hatfield.
I don't know. I remember there was one year there where it was like they're like, okay, you got to clean out your locker and return these school library books, and it's like nothing was in there but like Dunkin' Donuts boxes.
No, do kids now still have lockers?
Yeah, I don't know. Do they?
They do, and they're small. I was just at the school last night. Yeah, and I was looking at the lockers saying, "Gosh, they're really small now."
I hope they eventually get money to replace them all at some point.
Thought
they get a lot of
the thought
abuse.
crossed my mind of like, how could you shove a kid in one of these? Because I was that guy.
Oh yeah, it's happened. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
So maybe you make them small enough where you can't do it.
Find a really small kid, and then you know that there's some dumb kid that decides that he's going to show off to everybody that he can fit in the locker. And of course, that door is just asking to be closed.
Yeah, that would be a total movie or a book that Chris could write. He could be the next Stephen King, man.
Oh, and
how do you think he got
never
started?
complete my third act properly? Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. The interesting thing about escapism in movies, your thing about escapism in movies, that's why I have a hard time watching movies and why I game so much at night, though. Because gaming, especially the AAA titles, and that's why I'm drawn more towards the AAA titles, is because they scratch the itch of a story, not always well acted, mind you, or well told, but they scratch that itch, but they also keep my hands or fingers involved enough to where I'm also not able to just stare at the screen and then 20 minutes later, because I'm lost in thought, go, oh wait, I actually wanted to not think about stuff and watch this. The gaming actually does make everything melt away,
because
for the most part
it kind of brings you in, so immerses you into the experience. That's
wow, the land of make-believe.
I will say the rule of Ginny Penn, which I saw this last weekend with John Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush. The sound design in the theater, you're supposed to be immersed in as Jeffrey Rush. And so the way they design the sound design, the movie and everything is as he's having a stroke, you're supposed to kind of be experiencing it. So it actually felt like the movie was kind of a bizarre trip because of the sound design.
Is it a horror film or is it not?
It is kind of a horror film, but it's more about the power dynamic of somebody who is still got their faculties and everything fine, and they're kind of using it to abuse the other older patients within the retirement home. Because Jeffrey Rush's character has a stroke at the beginning of the movie, and so the entire thing is John Lithgow's character is kind of, he finds whoever's the weakest elderly person in the retirement home and kind of just abuses them. Because
why are we talking about elder abuse again?
Okay, well, jeez, it came out.
How about do a movie about getting hit by a foul ball?
I think they've got a few of those.
Vargas, here's the pitch. Swinging a foul.
Well, you gotta watch Major League with Charlie Sheen. Hey, that would.
That's what I was going with the hat.
Yeah.
Well, and you got the glasses. You got the glasses now too, because that was the whole thing.
Exactly. That's my whole bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's interesting. So yeah, you were saying though that the movie brought you in because it was a trip, yeah, because of the
Yeah,
sound design.
because of the
Yeah.
sound design, but I don't know if I would have experienced the same thing at home. So I
Yeah.
think it's one of those movies that it's like so well done for the theater itself
Mhm.
and that experience, unless you have like a 7.1 surround sound system at home.
I do,
but
not to humble brag, but yeah, I've got the Atmos thing.
But do you have a projector like Eric, or are you using a? Yeah,
I'm using you see, because of my job. So for my job, I have a lot of AV stuff. So I have I think it's 78-inch TV right now. Maybe it's 80. I don't know. It's huge. But yeah, but that's actually, and then I have the Atmos set up so that I can test all that stuff too. But that is a thing in of itself. So last night when I was benchmarking things, I keep forgetting that I've got speakers behind me and off to corners and stuff like that. So in Cyberpunk, randomly somebody decided to say, "Hey, what's your problem?" And it was off behind me. That freaked me out at 2 a.m. Right? Like that does happen, like where you just forget, and everything's all front and center, and then randomly somebody will be like, "Hey, pal," and then you're like, and it's funny because if it gets late enough at night, no matter how many times I jump from it, it still keeps happening, right? It is pretty funny.
That'd be funny if they start doing it while you're playing Balatro.
No, Balatro is a laptop game. I haven't played that.
Okay,
I haven't played that on the living room setup or whatnot. Same thing with Inscription. That's a laptop game.
All right, Meatball Saucy wants to know. He's thinking about selling his II arcade. Do you think there's a market for it here in Oregon?
I think there is.
Yeah, I think probably is, but how much are you gonna sell it for? I guess people will buy anything, but if the price is right, if you can hear me.
Yeah, it's certainly there's. I mean,
do you know about the IR arcade, Travis?
No. But it was
like one of these No, kind of. It was kind of like an arcade 1-up, but you would download games to it. But the company itself went under a couple years ago.
Oh no! So you're stuck.
Was that 2023 or 2024? Yeah. So there's no more updates. I guess you can soft mod it and add stuff, and tinker. You can always tinker with stuff, but
I'll be right back.
Yeah, they didn't last.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, Chris is gone.
That doesn't surprise me. It's one of the things too, and I deal with this in the music world. Is that during the pandemic, people picked up new hobbies and people picked up new ways to build out their home, right? And
yeah, that's Meatball Saucy in his VR.
Well, that's actually not such a thing, because that you actually could take anywhere, right? But so we all built out, not we all, but a lot of people built out their homes in certain ways, and then or they picked up new hobbies, and then as the pandemic ended, people have gotten back into other hobbies, and so those hobbies are going away. So for music, for me, I was able to buy and flip instruments and gear and not lose any money doing it, right? Because the market was so hot for that stuff. I knew that wouldn't last, so I was careful as it started slowing down, but sure enough, it slowed way down now. Right. And I kind of wonder about like the home arcade stuff, if that isn't going to kind of go through the same fate. And that's why you're seeing arcade 1-ups and places like that go out of business, is that as people spend less time at home, which no matter where you were in the US, for about a year, you were spending a lot of time at home. Right. And as that changed, now I think a lot of people are looking around going, I haven't touched that thing in a long time. And then obviously in these companies, their sales go up and then they quickly stop because it was a moment in time, right? Not to mention that stimulus checks and things like that also gave us expendable income to all of a sudden you've got $500 or whatever in your pocket that you didn't plan on having, and you're bored. So
Yeah.
And then furthermore, the idea was you were told explicitly those checks were to spend on things now to keep the economy going. So you would have been considered morally, if this is the way you could justify buying something with a stimulus check that you truly don't need, is if you threw it in savings, well, that defeats the purpose. And that's not me being a good guy. I'm supposed to go spend this on something. So I'm going to go buy this, right? And so I think that that's where a lot of these companies like Arcade1Up had a quick pitch in business and then probably are going to see a decline.
It was the perfect moment in time for them. And I think now, like, I want to go out to arcades.
Right. Now you're the example of that, of what I was just talking about.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to go out, and I was hearing B-Kong on his channel yesterday too. He's the same way. He wants to go out. He's actually hosting his own pinball tournaments now. It's like, that's awesome, but like, he wants to get more, people interaction.
Right. Yeah, he wants.
And
he wants
I
more
get it.
face-to-face
Like,
time.
you can have all these in your house, but like, am I inviting the whole neighborhood over?
Right.
No.
Well, and that's
So,
the problem too with the home arcade ones, is when I had them and we had a bunch of kids over here, it was like,
did you get rid of them?
I sold off mine last year.
You did? Oh, you did?
And there were just too many kids who wanted to play them, but there wasn't enough machines. And then when you introduced me to Next Level Museum, Pinball Museum up there in Hillsborough, it was just like the idea of paying one price to go in for an entire day and just be able to essentially play anything I want. It's so much better than owning it. I wish we had an arcade place like that here in Salem, but
yeah, you had Coin Jam.
Yeah,
you had.
We still do. They're just.
Do you still? They're still open.
They don't open till 4:00 though.
Oh, I see. So they're because they're a barcade,
and
right?
none of their machines are connected. So that's what annoys me.
What do you mean by none of them are connected?
They're not connected to the internet, so we can't look at our high scores.
Yeah, I see.
And I can't compare with Dathan or.
Furthermore,
Eric
they also don't
do.
They don't do the one fee to get in and everything's free to play. It's a traditional arcade in that way. Yeah. But I did think it was cool when I took a trip down to Salem and checked it out. I thought it was cool. I was like, hey, if I lived here, this would be cool. But that was when they had first kind of opened and it was brand new and all that.
They do have food there, which Next Level does not.
Yes, they do have food and they have drinks.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we need to do another trip to Next Level.
It's right over there.
So,
anyway,
if they had good Wi-Fi in there, we could connect to the internet.
Speaking of things that high school Travis would kick older Travis's butt about, it's that I live right next to Next Level and I've been there twice. Four times, I think, 4 or 5 times. Like I being old can't understand why I'm not there all the time. Like, and I could get a membership and drop in and play a couple games and leave. I don't understand it. Like, I still don't get it.
The dream is dead. The dream is dead.
I mean, it's the same thing for me. I've been like, I'm going to go up to Next Level. It's an hour away, and
ain't nobody got time for that.
I'm just like, oh, something's come up. So, I mean, things always happen.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Things don't come up for me. I just don't do it. Like, I could have done it tonight before the stream. I could have gone, played, and came home. You know what I mean?
But you decided to come and talk to us.
What's that? No. I mean, before I could have done it, and then come and talked about how I was just there. Like it's not far at all from my house. It's very close, and I just don't. I actually, to be fair to myself, I don't think about it. Like I kind of do.
Meatball Saucy lives 10 minutes away.
Yeah,
and he doesn't go either.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I should say, since Meatball
Uh,
Saucy is into the whole VR thing, I don't know if you saw that this last Tuesday they dropped a VR. I don't know if it was Quest or Steam or PSVR 2, but they dropped a VR showcase where they showed off a bunch of new VR games that was just shown out of nowhere.
Who cares?
So I just thought I'd let them know.
You know, I saw the Quest sitting
Apparently there's
there,
some new VR,
and,
buddy.
that is one of the things I jumped in during the Super Bowl to try to feel it out and say hi. I do forget that's something I have too. But that is an experience that when you remember that you have it and you play it for a while, you walk away from it going like, "Oh, I need to use that more often."
Yeah.
That's cool. And every time that I use VR, I'm always like, that is cool. And it doesn't matter if it's just Beat Saber or if it's Seventh Guest or if it's something, or if it's just talking with people or seeing people online. I'm always like, that is a cool experience. But the barrier to get into it, which is nothing more than turning it on and strapping it to my head, is so much that I just don't put it on.
Yeah,
I just
or
play Balatro instead.
if you forget to plug it in, and then you're like, "Oh, hey,
Oh,
VR
and it's
sounds
dead.
like it'd be fun," and
Yeah.
you're all like, "Why won't it turn on?" Oh, well, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
I'm not playing VR today. So
Yeah, the batteries,
What an
the
ugly
batteries
thing
in
to
the
say.
Quest 2, I think you get like what, about 2.5 hours of playtime on it with the standard battery. It doesn't last a super long time.
I don't know. I've got the Quest 1,
Okay.
and so it was like, "Oh, hey, I have this sitting here in the office," and I picked it up the other day, and it was like 20% left. And the
Yeah.
moment I went to boot up a game, it was like, "Yeah, it's gonna die soon."
Yeah.
The dream
Now,
is
I
dead.
think that the Quest 3s are pretty low price, right? Well,
Yeah.
low price relatively, right? You know.
The Quest 3 is the for the consumer, it is the lowest form of entry for people to get into VR.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you're wanting to get in and have a good VR experience, the Quest 3 is a good way to go. But
That's the way to go.
I mean, I think until the Quest 1 dies, I'll probably keep playing that. So
Yeah, for sure. Got to get
And-
use out of it.
hey, Glarzilla.
I was playing Star Wars in VR and got invited to play multiplayer golf and chose to keep playing Star Wars. Yeah, everyone's playing that multiplayer golf, but just yeah, no, it's all good. What's up, Glarzilla? Yeah, the Dodgers are gonna be good. So yeah,
Well, I
there you
saw
go.
Shotani
they-
just had
they should be-
surgery done on his throwing arm, didn't he?
What?
The dream is dead.
That's not good.
So I don't know.
It's over, Johnny.
It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
All right, it's almost been 2 hours. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
No, I'm gonna hop.
This was
hop
a
into
really-
Inscription. I think after we're done.
Yeah.
Are you
See if
liking
I can
that?
finish that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Spoiler, because how long has this game been out? Like a
few
long
years?
time, right?
No idea.
Yeah. Okay, long enough. And so you guys, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, you can plug your ears. So I play this game because it starts off as a stupid card horror game, then it becomes a stupid Nintendo game, and now it's a stupid sci-fi game. So I don't know. Am I liking it? Yeah, but it can be over anytime now. And I don't like in the new
nobody got time for
sci-fi
that.
area, I have to remember the paths that I took to get to where I was. That's annoying too. But other
Just-
than that, I keep playing it. It's fun.
Just don't look up all the background stuff with the creator of that. 'Cause
Oh,
there's a whole augmented reality like video system that's going on that people are like, oh, if you do this in the game and find this specific card, it unlocks this. Like there were there were packages that were sent to people that they unlocked things when the game first came out. The guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is a whole augmented reality thing about the company that made the game and what the actual person was," and like,
yeah,
it's a whole rabbit hole of like insanity.
But is he a bad dude?
Not a bad dude. It was just
Oh,
was
okay.
one. It was one of those things where the guy that created it wanted to take his previous 2 games he made, one of which I think is called Pony Island, and kind of connect them all together through this real world kind of umbrella corporation. Like it was supposed to be like a make believe, like
Yeah, because I did see something. I think about Pony Island in the game. I think that something popped up there. Yeah. Now that's fine. I just was hoping that it wasn't like I was playing some indie game, and it was okay. It was odd, but it was okay. You know, I was just playing. It was like an adventure game, and it started getting a little weird, with like some of the characters' attitudes and stuff. And then it turns out, like as I'm playing it, turns out that one of the people who were the makers was just a bad person. And I was like, oh, well, this ruins it. So I quit playing the game.
Yeah. No, it's,
you know, like
it just,
or maybe
was
they weren't a bad person. Actually, they may not have been a bad person, but they may have committed suicide. And that was enough to where I was like, oh, that really makes this game and these characters take a real dark turn. Like it, you know, and I just couldn't enjoy it.
It was
you
the,
know?
the peer pressure, a-hole.
It might have been that. But yeah, so as long as the guy's not as long as the creator's not a bad person, then I'll continue to be able to enjoy.
No, he seems to be fine. It's just one of those things where I think a lot of YouTube creators at the time were doing like these ARGs, augmented realities games where they're trying to like tell these different stories through actually involving the audience into it, and that's kind of what they did with Inscription.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that's my final thought. Is I think I'll nestle up and play some Inscription. Maybe beat the stupid sci-fi game part.
What an ugly thing to say.
I know for me, I'm going to try and get back into some Avowed. Maybe WWE try, and then I'm this weekend I'm going to go see Novocaine and probably Black Bag. So
very cool.
That sounds like you're going to be doing like some hardcore things in an alley there. What the heck?
Well, if I am, Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett will be there with me.
The dream is dead.
Party.
Thanks, Meatball Saucy. Thank you. Leakering finally showed up. He must have just woken up.
He was there the entire time and just decided to jump on in.
J-Rod, thank you for watching with me again. Hopefully you heard me okay today. But thanks for watching, everybody. Give us a like, and I think that first hour was definitely a good conversation with Stan Lee, and if you didn't hear that, I think that was a good one we did. So, but yeah, well, next week we should be able to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadow. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll try to make that the thumbnail, and I don't plan on getting it, but if Chris and Dathan are going to get it,
I can't.
We'll get some.
I will probably try to hold off until I've beaten Mirage. The problem with Mirage is that it's just not grabbing me. Like I don't know why, but it's just not. All the other ones, Odyssey, Valhalla, the Origins, they all grab me like straight away. But for some reason, this one's not quite doing it yet. But maybe it's because I keep hopping in and out of it.
I'm gonna give it a couple weeks, and then when I hear that Ubisoft has gone under because it failed to perform, and it's now $15, maybe then I'll pick it up. But
it's gonna happen.
I think this is good. The fact they've canceled so many of their games that they had in the pipeline, and this one they pushed back because not looking good.
You'll never get a Rayman.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Everyone, Chris, are you doing anything interesting on your channel this week?
I do have more of my bottom of the box office episodes I've been putting up. I have this next one from 1979. You can on Tuesday you can see what movie was the bottom of the box office. Oh,
from what year?
1979.
Ooh, I have no. Oh, you got me intrigued. Meatball Saucy, thank you.
Super Chat for the late night. Super Chat for Ryan Savoy. Super Chat for Chris, Dick, and Eric, and Travis. Fuck yeah, Super Chat.
And don't forget the cheap
Happy
viewers
birthday, Sasha.
on steamboo.com.
Right.
I wonder. That's obviously coming from Twitch, so maybe that's my channel.
Just if anybody needs any cheap viewers,
what are you watching? What are you watching on Twitch?
We finally
Chris?
are endorsed.
I'm not watching anything. This is I've got us streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and X, Twitter.
We've got a sponsor.
I'm just curious. You got 49 people watching us on X right now, but who's watching us on X?
I don't know.
That's what has got me worried.
Probably Elon Musk.
It's all good.
Yeah, because I know he comes to check these out all the time.
49 people are watching us on X right now. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
We'll go with it. Whatever.
Hey, it gets viewers.
Thank you, Meatball.
Yep.
Dude, Meatball Saucy, we need to do next level thing again here. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, my dogs are barking. It's 11 o'clock at night.
The dog's out.
What time was it? Yeah, 11 o'clock at night. All right. I got to go see what my dogs are going up to.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.